Welcome back, Brawl Nation. We are in Season 1, Brawl 5 Bracket Reveal. We're already halfway through the first season. I'm Rotag, joined by Willy, and we are ready to bring you even more Brawl action with this Season 1, Brawl 5 Bracket Reveal. Willy, how are you today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm refreshed. It's been a fast week. I don't know about you, but this week I looked up and it was suddenly Friday. It was one of those weeks where it went by quickly, man. So ready to get rolling here. Might get some wings tonight. It's Friday's normally wing night in our house, and that's always an exciting time. Just thinking about them right now, getting kind of hungry. But we'll see if that actually happens or not. I'm crossing my fingers everybody gets home on time. 2-year-old daughter is going to be well behaved, ready to knock out some chicken tenders for her. But wings are always something that make me very, very happy. I don't know about you, but I can eat those all day long.
Yeah, man. When I was in my 20s, I could plow through those like nobody's business. I would hit the all-you-can-eat wings at Gators Dockside, Beef O'Brady's, wherever I could find them. And did some damage. In my older years, I can't quite eat as many as I once could.
At this point, it's not about quantity anymore. It's more just like crushing like 10 to 12 really good wings of a nice cold brew. That's a little bit of fries on the side. I hit it up with some vinegar. Like those. I know you don't like the vinegar, but that's how I like my fries. Like, and after a spicy wing, a little vinegary, peppery fry is really hits the spot.
There you go. Well, and this might be the real brawl action is blue cheese or ranch, and I think we're on opposite sides of the spectrum here.
We are, but to me that's like a palate cleanser. I'm not big on like smothering a wing in either. Like the blue cheese or ranch is more for dipping the celery or carrots in that cleanse the palate following the spiciness.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can see that, but it also, if you get a good quality blue cheese or ranch, then it can really contribute and help with those flavors and kind of the combination of them. That's sometimes key.
Maybe
there are different restaurants that have different quality of ones because sometimes when you get a lesser quality one, it's like, meh, this really isn't helping the meal. So, on that note, let's get into our bracket reveal. This is our very first region. We are going to go ahead and go to the Tokyo Dome. Willy, break down this region for the Tokyo Dome.
Man, we got some strong figures who are heading, like many of the greatest athletes in the world this week, over to Tokyo to do some brawling, to see if the cards will be in their favor or not. We got some of the best athletes of all time. We got Darth Maul, who's the 1 seed in that region, scary looking dude from Star Wars. We got Jason, a horror movie. We got some bad guys, some good guys, some Olympians. It's a talented region from top to bottom, and we even have a walking shark in that region. lots of interesting competitors got in this brawl, and naturally the selection committee had a hard time seeding him. But we're not here to seed. We're here to just see all the action, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Absolutely, yeah. The selection committee, we can argue all day long with them whether they got things right or wrong. And a lot of times, I tend to argue with them on many of these, things in the competition committee as well, which is why I'm not always their favorite, but good thing of ironclad contracts that I am here for a long time to come, unless they want to pay me lots of money to get me out of here. So, in the Tokyo Dome, number 1 seed Darth Maul will be facing 16 seed Barney the Dinosaur. This is one where a T-Rex was 1 seeded, I believe, number 2, and Barney the Dinosaur gets 0 respect, and he's 16.
Oh, man, that's true. Are we supposed to be able to see the bracket right now? Because right now I'm just seeing you on screen. Is this supposed to be the bracket happening too, or is this are we just talking about it and no one's going to actually see what we're talking about?
Everybody can actually see it in the recording. You can't see it because you can't see my OBS screen right now.
Okay. Oh, that's a good point. That's an important point to make. Because I'm just like, you're talking about you're talking about the bracket. I'm just like, where is it? It's like, tell me about this bracket. I'm like, all I'm seeing is Tebow's jersey and all those whatever that is behind your head.
Yeah,
What is that behind you?
those are all my
What's
Pop
going on?
Funkos.
That's your what?
My Pop Funkos.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I actually picked
So
up a whole bunch of new
you're
ones
like that.
the other day
You're
from
like that
Science.
guy. So you're like that guy in the 40-year-old virgin with like keeping them in the boxes and making sure that they stay unopened and in mint condition.
Not that bad. I mean, I don't care about certain pricier ones and this and that. I get the ones that I like. I put them up there. I just bought the Cast of Seinfeld ones. Just came out the other day, and I picked those up. So I enjoyed that show as well. So I got to get some more shelves from IKEA to finish off the wall. But I just like it
I
as
see
a nice background for the home office here. So, but back to
Yeah,
the bracket reveal, which is
at
why
first glance, I thought they were baseball cards. Just like show me that doll looking thing.
nope, baseball cards right here.
Ah, there we go. All right,
Speaking
back to the
of
bracket.
cards, I happen to get dun dun dun.
Oh, I can't wait. This old pack from my Texas Hold'em set is in need of some. Yeah, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. We'll be doing that
Brand
very
new
shortly.
playing cards, first edition. There is only a limited number of these packs, and if you're interested in getting one of the first edition packs, you can hit us up on Twitter, and Willie can get that contact information from you, and you can purchase one of these first edition packs. Here we can discuss price at that point and whether or not you want them autographed on the Jokers by Willie and myself, and we can get those autographed. So you have a limited collection. Again, very limited quantity here just for the very first year edition. After that, each additional year, probably more quantity as more subscribers come in. But you have a chance right now to get your very first edition, the 2021 edition of the Brawl cards.
Well, we got some talk about backgrounds on the Zoom call, some action figures, some wings. Like but these tangents, they're what make it happen, man. I mean, I was listening to Jonas Knox and LeVar Arrington on Outkick the Coverage on Fox Sports Radio this morning, and they talked for a good 45 minutes on favorite game day foods, and that was much better than the endless talk about Aaron Rodgers and all that speculation that most of the time they've been talking about. So hey, the tangents are what makes these podcasts really, really kick, in my opinion. So anyways, what do you say we get down to it, Rotag?
I couldn't have said it any better right there, Willie. We do get off on tangents, but that is part of who we are. We like to have those conversations, and it's fine. But yes, let's get back to the bracket here, where we already talked about Darth Maul versus 16 seed Barney. Take us to the 8-9 matchup, and then run us all the way through all the matchups there, and then we'll discuss them.
Two of the best athletes of all time in very different arenas. We got Michael Jordan in his prime, the GOAT, going up against Olympian and swimmer Michael Phelps. Really, a lot of wingspan there. Those guys will have some reach. We'll see how they do their brawling without outside of their sports. 4-13 matchup. We got Agent J from MIB going up against Coach Steve from Big Mouth. That was kind of a sad sack. We'll see how Coach Steve goes up against Agent J. Should be a fun matchup there. The 5-12 matchup, we have Chris Vaughn from Walking Tall going up against Frank the Tank from Old School. I got Frank the Tank in an upset there, but the very intriguing matchup potential for Chris Vaughn and Agent J in the second round. Any thoughts on that, Rotag?
Yeah, in the top half of the bracket there, that's definitely the one to look out for is Frank the Tank with the upset there. I think that could happen as well. Although, The Rock's character, Chris Vaughn from Walking Tall, he was, walking tall in that case. And, he ended up dealing with a lot of damage there that he needed to try and get Sean William Scott character, I believe, back and to his family, something like that. It was a good day for him there after it all said and done. Today might not be that case. Frank the Tank will probably upset him there. And yeah, a couple of good athletes in 8-9. It's hard to see Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, Olympians when we're talking about Tokyo Dome, and where the Olympics are going to be held near the Tokyo there. And they're 8 and 9 seeds. That tells you how stacked this whole bracket is. So
this field is loaded.
what about the rest of the matchups?
All right, 314. We have our first sort of mutant creature over here. We have a walking shark. So a shark with legs that can walk on land and do some damage. Whatever this monster is, going up against Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec. And then I think I understand why you're having me break down this region, because we have one of the hardest names to pronounce. Dratanian Olympian gold medal winner Ahmad Abugash going up against the Spice Girls in their prime. Interesting 6-11 matchup. Ahmad I have as a pick to go far in this. That man knows how to fight, he knows how to brawl, and he knows how to compete in an Olympic arena. $7-10 matchup. We have Jim Thorpe, one of the greatest athletes of all time, going up against Teddy Roosevelt, U.S. President, Rough Rider. That's an interesting 7-10 matchup. The fact that Teddy was way down there as a 10 seed shows, again, as you mentioned, how stacked this field is. And to round out the region, we have Jason going up against Miley Cyrys, the 15 seed, who is decidedly overmatched in that battle.
Yes, Willie, thank you for breaking down the rest of that bracket. And no, I just like you to run through them all so that way everybody can hear the different matchups, and then we can commentate a little bit on them afterwards, just making sure we're staying within our time frames, especially with all that other wing talk and pop talk and everything else that we were doing earlier. So, yeah, I got Jason and Darth Maul running this kind of region. I mean, those two are just crazy psychopaths that are just made for this kind of a thing. They're going to be annihilating this field. Even though there's some other good competition in there, I just don't know if they're going to be able to rise to that occasion. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all breaks down.
Okay, next region. Let me know when you've got it up, because again, all I see is those action figures and the Tim Tebow jersey behind you.
We are on the Grand Canyon. We are rocking and rolling.
Okay, here we go. Galactus. Indomitable figure from the comic book universe there, going up against the Penguin from Billy Madison. That could be, in my mind, that's one of the most. Then again, we saw the world's oldest lady take out the entire Chicago SWAT team. So we don't know how that could happen. But in my mind, this is the biggest mismatch of the entire tournament.
Well, yeah, absolutely, without question. And that's what I was thinking about as, reflecting on past tournaments and, the past brawls and rewatching some of those. That upset was undoubtedly the biggest upset we've had, a 16 versus 1. The problem is the difference between her and the Chicago SWAT team is here, and Galactus and Billy Madison Penguin are, it's off the screen, you can't see it. I mean, difference. And that's the thing is, there could be a greater upset than what we saw in that one, even if it's the 16 versus 1, because the difference between the 1 and 16 can be even greater than we can even imagine.
All right, then we got the 8-9 matchup in this region. We got NHL star Connor McDavid going up against the crew from The Hangover. Interesting battle there. Then we're getting straight up biblical with it. 4 seed is Goliath from the Old Testament, straight out of the Old Testament to the Brawl Arena, and he will be facing Michael Jackson. That could be, again, with Goliath as a 4 seed, we are seeing some, if Goliath is way down there, this field is packed. And then finally, we got in the top part of that region, we got Genghis Khan going up against Papa John. He might get canceled by Genghis Khan hardcore in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm most looking forward to seeing the Goliath and Michael Jackson matchup there. Goliath, taken down by a single slingshot and stone, kind of like a rock. Michael Jackson is not the king of rock, he's the king of pop, unfortunately, and so it's not going to go well. I think his bubble gets popped here, and he's going to be taken out by Goliath.
Moving on, we got Beast from X-Men fame going up against a random guy from Taco Bell. that he might have wanted to stay in that Taco Bell restaurant and maybe have himself an ice cold Baja Blast because he's going to get blasted by Beast, I think, in that matchup. Then we have Dick Butkus in shoulder pads in his prime going up against the Fonz. Hey! Do you see a potential upset happening in that 6-11 matchup?
I do. I see the Fonzie. I think he's underseated here. I mean, the way he would strike that jukebox and make it happen, and people didn't want to mess with the Fonz, and so Butkus might be getting a little bit too big for his britches here and into the wrong league with the Fonz.
Here we go, another Olympian and a famous boxer in his prime, Oscar De La Hoya, going up against Jim Beam. That's a interesting matchup in that 7-10 fight. And then finally, we have, to round it out, we have 2-seed Leatherface going up against Austrian composer Mozart.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to come up with the right, sort of sympathy here to make it work. It's going to be a tough day sledding for him, but I'm looking forward to this Jim Beam, Oscar De La Hoya thing. I mean, is this Jim Beam the person? Is this a bottle of Jim Beam? I mean, because it'd be hard to beat a bottle of Jim Beam. I mean, even for some of the most experienced drinkers, that could knock you out pretty quick.
And that indeed is accurate. I think we got the distiller here, but if those guys can fight, those are some old school folks. We'll see what happens there. Mozart is going to need more than the magic flute to knock out Leatherface. He could be facing a very short-lived time in the brawl.
Yeah, and that wraps up the Grand Canyon region. We'll be moving on to a third region, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, Mos Eisley Cantina.
That is correct. The Mos Eisley Cantina on Tatooine in the Star Wars universe. Obi-Wan Kenobi said it was the most dangerous place, full of some of the most vile people you can possibly imagine. And we got some really talented folks here who are going to be entering that Mos Eisley Cantina and get some brawling on. Start off with our 1 seed, the Guardians of the Galaxy. All 4 of them, they are the squad to be reckoned with in this region, in my mind. They'll be going against that creepy Six Flags old oak guy, the creepy old guy from the old Six Flags commercials. That could be, again, just like Galactus versus that Billy Madison Penguin. That could be one of the biggest mismatches we've seen.
Yes, indeed. And the fact that the Guardians of the Galaxy are taking their little skills of being in the galaxy and they're going out, in the galaxy of the Star Wars universe here, I mean, that might kind of play into some home field advantage for them. If there is any in the Brawl tournament here, they probably got the most home field advantage there.
Indeed. Then we have 8-9 matchup in this region. 2 great athletes. Jesse Owens, he went into Berlin in 1936 and took home a gold medal. Showed up Hitler's athletes, showed how awesome America is. He'll be going up against Patrick Mahomes. That should be a really close fight, in my opinion.
Couple of supreme athletes for sure.
Then we have Spartan King Leonidas going up against Scooby-Doo. If he could take on thousands and thousands of Xerxes' finest, he should be able to handle Scooby-Doo.
I got Scooby, man.
Well, he might need to go back to the Mystery Machine and get some Scooby snacks, because unless Leonidas just sees Scooby and just wants to pet him, then it's will be a challenging matchup for him there.
Oh, absolutely. But I think
this is Sparta.
Shaggy was already in it once, and he got thrashed. I remember, but I like Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo was always one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. I loved watching that show. So a little bit of a sentimental pick. Probably not smart, considering my Brawl record has not been great in my predictions lately. But I'm gonna go with Scooby-Doo still pulling out an upset there. We've seen a lot of.
And then we have. Go ahead.
We've just seen some 13s pull off these upsets, so it could happen.
Man, you are right about that, and maybe I'm wrong in the fact that I picked all four seeds to win. A 13 seed has won in every single one of our previous brawls. I might be, but then again, It's all about the cards. So we never know how this card is going to turn out. 4 seed has a decided advantage. 5-12 matchup. We got Mr. Joshua, the blonde villain from Lethal Weapon. One of the best fighters in the old 80s movies, going up against 12 seed PewDiePie. He's got a lot of subscribers, but he might be overmatched there against Mr. Joshua.
Yeah, PewDiePie with 100+ million subs on YouTube, but he's not bringing them in there to help him fight. It is going to be a tough uphill sledding for him to go up against a great villain from, those Lethal Weapon series, or at least one of the movies there. So yeah, I imagine that PewDiePie will be back to making YouTube content shortly. He won't be gone for long because he's going to be out of the brawl mighty quickly.
Indeed, but that video, if he posts a video fighting Mr. Joshua in the Mos Eisley Cantina, that's something I think any one of us would have done to buy that ticket just for the experience. It'll be a once-in-a-lifetime thing to travel to Mos Eisley.
Absolutely. He's going to use us for clickbait to get other people to watch his channel.
There you go. Wink, wink. All right. 3 seed, Mufasa from The Lion King, back from the dead, fighting artist Pablo Picasso. Picasso's paintings are always rather abstract, and that might be how he looks after fighting Mufasa. Then we have our 6-11 matchup. Bruce Lee, all the way down as the 6 seed, going up against 11 seed Hans Gruber. He mostly let everybody else do that fighting in that Die Hard film, but he has an 11 seed in this matchup and probably one of the worst 6 seeds he could possibly look across to see across from him in that brawl.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bruce Lee is a tough matchup. Hans Gruber, he fought John McClane, the guy that was in one of our brawls and did, fairly well in his first round matchup, and I think his second one as well in the round of 32, but then I think he got beat in the round of 16, if I'm recalling correctly. But yeah, I mean, Gruber, unfortunately, is facing another stud in Bruce Lee here, and it's not going to probably go well, just like it didn't go well in that movie for him. Yeah, and I'm just going to keep that other comment to myself, and we're going to move on.
Okay, Rotag, keeping his cards close to the vest. Macho Man Randy Savage in his prime as the 7th seed in this region, going up against Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. Interesting matchup there. We'll see if Captain Jack has some rum up his sleeve and might be able to pull a surprise there. Yeah. And finally, rounding up, going up. Go ahead, Rotag.
I was just going to say Macho Man might snap into a Slim Jim and take Captain Jack Sparrow out. Oh, yeah.
Make him walk the plank. My apologies, got the phone going off there. Finally, we have our 2-15 matchup, a nightmare matchup for 15 seed Wanda Sykes. She'll be going up against Freddy Kruger, the 2 seed. And it could be a nightmare for all the competitors going up against Freddy. He's one of the tougher 2 seeds in this bracket.
Absolutely. I could have seen him easily have grabbed a number 1 seed there. And so him being a 2 seed, that's going to be very dangerous. And like you said, nightmare for Wanda Sykes. I mean, that was well put, Mr. Willy. That was exactly what the commentary that was needed for a show like this, and you nailed it. Well done, sir.
I appreciate that. It's nice to be acknowledged every now and then. All right, here we go. After all, like you got the technical brilliance, you got everything lined up well, and it's you're the man, Rotag.
Listen, that's what makes it work, though. So, I mean, there's sometimes when, and I mean, this is just unfiltered here, is what we are often, is that, it's going through and it's fine. And then sometimes we say stuff and it just makes ourselves laugh on purpose, on accident. Like we just say things and it's like the perfect thing to be said. And so, I mean, it just kind of catches us off guard because it's just the right thing that we needed too. Because we're fans of this as well. We're not just the host of the show. We're fans of the show as well. And we get excited by it just as much as you guys in the Brawl Nation do as well. Let's move on to our final region here. Mr. Willy, tell us about this region and where it's taking place and the competitors in it.
Okay, we are heading to Alliance Arena, famous German soccer stadium, and we will see as the number 1 seed in that bracket, we got It. We got Pennywise the Clown. Terrifying figure. That thing. I read the book. It gave me nightmares. I have honestly never watched any of the old It movies or the modern rendition just because the book was so freaking scary. So the fact that if the book is scary, if I this is like one of the old jokes I once heard is that when like reading a book is just looking at dead trees and hallucinating. And if I'm just reading that book and I'm getting those terrifying images in my mind, a movie would have been too much. And I think Pennywise is going to be too much for many of the figures in this bracket here. Marge Simpson is the 16 seed who drew the short straw to face Pennywise. Might be getting dragged into the sewer there by her blue hair.
Well, and Marge may be used to Krusty the Clown, but that is not the same clown that Pennywise is for sure. Pennywise, pretty scary dude. I did see the new It movie, not It 2, but I saw the first one. I didn't see the sequel to it. But I saw the first one, and then I didn't see the old rendition from Stephen King back in the day. And I didn't read the book, but he's still a terrifying guy.
Like 1,000 pages long too.
What's that?
The book is about 1,000 pages long. It's pretty long.
999 pages, too many. All right, move on to the 8-9 matchup here and break it down for us.
All right, we got Geronimo, famous figure from history, going up against Bryce Harper, who has some of the most epic hair in history. I have Geronimo in this matchup.
Not talking about his baseball ability, but talking about his hair. That's a problem. I got Geronimo.
The man has outstanding hair. The 4-13 matchup, we have Xena, Warrior Princess, going up against Prince. Purple rain will be falling, tears will be falling when Xena gets a hold of Prince, I think.
Yeah, a little Lucy Lawless action here. Xena, Warrior Princess, she's going to dominate and show that the princess is greater than the prince.
Nice. That was a good comment there from Rotag. Yeah. A little zinger to end off that matchup breakdown. Then we have, in my mind, like what I cannot wait to see this battle of what I used to watch on TV. The bracket unfolded this way. We could have a 4-5 matchup between Walker, Texas Ranger, and Xena, Warrior Princess. I think that they were back to back on the old watching each of those shows back to back in the day. But we have 5-seed Ranger Walker going up against Justin Bieber. Bieber Fever is going to be heading home early, I think.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit I do enjoy Justin Bieber music. I like a lot of those songs. He comes out with some good bangers there. But it's not going to be enough. Walker is probably going to walk all over him. And setting up that, old 90s TV show from USA Network probably matchup, like you said. I think they would say.
I have not heard a banger to describe any of Justin Bieber's music, but then again, I haven't listened to modern music really since probably about 2008. So I've been sort of in a time capsule myself, as adult life tends to do, folks. We tend to be frozen in our post-college days, but that's a different question for a different psychology podcast. Moving on, we have a 3-14 matchup. The Mountain going up against the Care Bears. The Mountain, one of the most fierce fighters in Game of Thrones. He's a monster. He becomes a monster. He was a monster to begin with. Interesting battle. I mean, that might not be the 14 seed he wanted to see. He would much rather see some random guy from Taco Bell than the Care Bears, who have some magic to them. So it could be that could be an upset. But I have the Mountain moving forward here.
Yeah, see, and this is where I disagree with the selection committee. I think the Care Bears are ranked way too high. Of course, I see them more as just a little stuffed animal cartoon thing. I don't know.
Care Bears stare. I mean, they got some magic to them.
Don't know enough about him. Apparently, Willy does. So if you have any Care Bear questions, direct them straight to Willy. He'll be sure to answer them. I don't know. But I also don't know anything about Game of Thrones. Yes, I know that it annihilates me from most of you guys who love that show. Never watch it. Don't really care for it. Now I think. But I do know who the Mountain is. And I know that because I'm a random YouTube, binge where you're just randomly watching videos and you just kind of click through them for hours. And so I came across one where it was the guy that plays the Mountain and his wife, and they were doing a gender reveal for their baby. and he is massive, this man. And his wife is the tiniest little thing. If you've seen her, she's like 5'2", 100 pounds at most, and like he's what 6'8" or something like that, 340 pounds.
Three bills for sure. He's pushing forward. Like that. He's not fat either. He's like
No,
all muscle. And I think he does. Just we had a world's strongest man figure in Brawl 1, I think, and the Mountain competes in those. I mean, he's not just those muscles aren't just for show. Those muscles are for go.
well said. Yes, yeah. I mean, the Mountain is a great nickname because he freaking looks like a mountain, and he's gonna have to move mountains here to make it happen. But I think he can advance pretty far in this tournament here. All right, round it off with the last couple matchups that we have here.
Interesting 6-11 battle. We got the first man in history, Adam, another biblical figure, going up against Santa Claus, who drops in as a 6 seed. He's not exactly known for his fighting prowess, but again, he's got some magic. I have Santa actually making a little run in this thing. And then our 7-10 matchup, we have Captain Winters from Band of Brothers, one of everybody's favorite characters from that old miniseries, going up against Jack Daniels, the old distiller there. Again, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam both in this fight. And finally, our 2-15 matchup, Storm from X-Men fame, going up against Sweet D from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Sweet D broke her foot punting a football. If she tries to fight Storm, she might break more than that.
Yeah, I wonder if Jack and Jim sat down and, they were having a few drinks and said, hey, let's get in this brawl together. And I wonder if that's how that went down. But to me, the funniest thing, and immediately when I saw the whole bracket, I was looking over it, the matchup that I wanted to see, because it would just be the funniest thing to me, and I don't know why, would be Pennywise versus Sweet D. If Sweet D made a run and had to face Pennywise, that just to me would be on a whole nother level of just comical amusement for me. I don't know why, but that was something that I just said, man, that would be a great thing to see for entertainment purposes.
Yep, she's going to make quite the run through a lot of tough figures to make these. I thought that'd be an Elite 8 matchup in this one. We've never seen a 15 seed or a 16 seed advance that far. Again, the cards statistically don't make that very possible. But stranger things have happened. We saw in our last Final Four. We've got 5 seeds, we got 4 seeds, we got even a 7 seed. 2 7 seeds have advanced to Final Fours in our fights. So it's you can't rely solely on the numbers.
That's true. All right, I'm gonna show everybody my bracket predictions right here. This is my predictions on how I think it's gonna end up. I see both Darth Maul and Jason making a big run there, with Mahal coming out of our first region. Moving downward, I have Galactus versus Leatherface. Again, another 1-2 matchup. And I have Galactus coming out of that matchup. He is just a crazy strong figure in comic books. And so it's going to be tough to see him getting beat at all. In the next region, I have the Guardians versus Freddy. Again, a 1-2 matchup here. I went with a lot of the favorites here. And that's just because I think some of these favorites are just so strong. It's hard to pick against them. And I had Freddy coming out of that region there. And in my final region, I have Xena, Warrior Princess versus Storm. And I have Storm winning that one. With a Final Four featuring Mahal versus Galactus, Freddy versus Storm. I have both Maul, winning, and Freddy winning, with Darth Maul winning it all. I thought he got underdued in Episode 1 of Star Wars, and so yeah, that's where we're at. Unfortunately, we lost Willy here. We had internet connections go out, storming by where I'm at. So here's a quick look at Willy's picks, where he has Jim Thorpe, an Olympian, coming out in that region, with Galactus coming out in the next region below that. He has the Guardians of the Galaxy making a strong region run all the way to the Final Four, with Storm doing it as well. He then has a matchup versus Storm and Galactus, with Storm being his eventual winner. I am Rotag. He was Willy, and you can find us on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can go ahead and tweet us at Rotag and Willy, all one word, #Brawl. Go ahead and hit us up there. We hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you in the next episode. Take care, Brawl Nation. Rotag out.